Ichigo Kurosaki didn't just upgrade his Bankai several times, his soul was subjected to several horrific biological mutations, constantly breaking and rebuilding his DNA just to survive a cosmic war he was groomed from. Welcome back to the archives. Tonight we are declassifying the clinical anatomy of Ichigo's 7 Bankai stages, proving that his progression isn't a hero's journey, it is the violent force evolution of a genetic chimera. Before we open up this file, I need a verdict in the comments. If we are talking truly about the pinnacle of biological power, which mutation was absolute perfection? The spiritual suicide of Mugetsu or the forged duality of his true Bankai? I'll be reading every debate in the comments. To understand the trauma inflicted on Ichigo's soul, we must look at his first form first, the false comparison. When Ichigo first activated Tensa Zangetsu, he didn't unlock his true power. He unlocked a Quincy suppressor. Old man Zangetsu was actively suffocating his Shiragami biology, filtering only a fraction of his power through a hyper-compressed, thin black blade. Ichigo wasn't mastering his soul, he was mathematically handicapping his own spiritual pressure to a point where his body was constantly tearing itself apart from the sheer density of his own caged energy. This immediate biological stress triggered the second form, the Hollow Mask Bankai. The anime frames the Hollow as an evil inner demon trying to steal Ichigo's body. The archive's verdict is this: it was a violent immune response. The Hollow White was actually his Zanpakuto. Every time Ichigo put on that mask, while in Bankai, his true biology was desperately trying to forcefully overwrite the Quincy suppressor to keep his host alive. It wasn't possession, it was emergency cellular integration. But after that, the war against Aizen resulting in the third form, the post-Dangai fusion, Mugetsu. After spending months in the Dangai, Ichigo's body physically mutates. The chain wraps around his arm and the blade permanently fuses to his hand. He stops wielding a weapon and becomes the weapon. But the final Getsuga Tensho is a tactical technique. It is a spiritual suicide pact. By becoming Mugetsu, Ichigo immediately overclocks his soul so violently that it instantly incinerates his Shinigami and Hollow DNA, leaving him spiritually castrated. He didn't defeat Aizen, he simply burned his own existence to ash to buy the Soul Society time. After his powers died, they are artificially jump-started, leading to the fourth form, the Fullbring Bankai. This is where the horrific reconstruction begins. The Soul Society had to inject him with spiritual pressures of captains and lieutenants, aggressively weaving it with his human Fullbringer traces. This form features jagged ridges, a spiked collar, and armored plating. It is synthetic Frankenstein-ish kind of Bankai because it's a soul stitched back together using stolen scraps of other people's powers. If this file is making you see Ichigo's cool power-ups as a series of agonizing biological trauma, drop a like. It tells me the investigation is worth continuing. The illusion completely shatters in the 1,000-Year Blood War when his Bankai is broken by Hoshwal. Ichigo is forced to finally accept the terrifying reality of his genetics, resulting in his fifth form, the true Bankai. Ichigo's soul is split into two different distinct blades, one representing his Quincy blood and the other is representing his Hollow/Shiragami core when he initiates Bankai. The smaller blade filters the hollowed out center of a large one, centering a massive chain cleaver. This isn't just a sword, it's a physical manifestation of perfect balance, writing genetics. But the balance is meant to be broken, which triggers the sixth form, the Horn of Salvation, Bankai. By initially flooding his own blood with Yohabaha's Quincy Reishi, Ichigo forcefully wakes up the hollow dormant inside his true Bankai. A horn violently erupts from his skull, his eyes shifted to a hollows, and a Bankai spiritual pressure turned into a sickening chaotic white. This is the ultimate terrifying peak of his biology, a perfect weaponized chimera actively utilizing the DNA of every major race in the Bleach universe simultaneously. But the most profound psychological horror of Ichigo's arsenal is his seventh form, the shattered core. In the final clash against Yhwach, the Quincy King used Almighty to physically shatter the white outer shell of Ichigo's true Bankai. Yhwach thinks he has destroyed the threat, but peeling back the Quincy influenced shell reveals that the terrifying truth hides underneath. The blade left behind is exact shape of Ichigo's original massive shikai. This is the ultimate clinical realization of Bleach. After years of genetic manipulation, Quincy suppressors, artificial Fullbring stitching, and hollow immune response, the absolute core of Ichigo Kurosaki's soul remained completely unchanged. Yhwach didn't disarm him, he accidentally performed a metaphysical vivisection, stripping away all the noise to reveal the raw Shinigami underneath. If these files are worth reading, the archives need more agents. Hit the subscribe, more classified intel drops every week. That's a declassified file for another night. Bankai.